there's very few movies that really capture that Halloween essence.
It's tough. It's tough to do.
I know one we talked about a long time ago that some people might not even know of, but Satan's Little Helper.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, that movie captures Halloween. It just captures Halloween, dude.
It does, and it's done on a lower budget.
Yeah, and it's so under the radar that a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah. All right, after a bit of another delay, we're back. We could call this the COVID edition because that's where I've been. Unfortunately, I spent the last week recovering from that. Also was traveling. Don't worry, I was careful. I didn't go around. I'm not a super spreader. We followed we followed CDC recommendations. So for those of you concerned about that, I promise you I'm not out super spreading. But
don't let him lie to you, man. He was coughing on everybody everywhere he went.
Yeah. Well, my kids, I can't say what they were or weren't doing because it's impossible to keep kids under control. But they didn't get real sick. Nobody really got real sick. We're doing fine. Everything's good. So that's where we've been between that and the travel. We did try to get a video knocked off last week, but it was literally the day after I got popped with that, and I was dealing with all that stuff. It's just a big pain in the ass because I work in healthcare, so I have to go get tested and all this stuff. And I had to do all these emails and all this crap. And it just was so time consuming. I'm still dealing with it. That's really honestly been the worst part of the whole thing, dealing with all that. But happy to be back. And we have some weekly horror news. Before we get going, I just want to point out, because I didn't want to do this in the comments section, there have been some, I don't want to say complaints, but some criticisms about some of the technical stuff. One being my microphone being much louder than yours. I do have a microphone here. I try to sit farther away from it so I'm not totally, so the sound's not totally off. Maybe we can work on getting you a mic eventually to fix the.
I mean, listen, I'll be completely honest with that. Alan's fancy. He's got himself a mic. I got earbuds. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we're not trying to put out a 100% fancy, what you're used to type of podcast thing, man. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we do appreciate the feedback, and you know, if we can improve it, we will. I mean, the microphone that I have is just a pretty basic thing. I hadn't thought about. It's just easy for me to sit down here and just talk. You know, and then the other part is we've had a couple comments. Some people feel like I cut John off sometimes. Basically, the way we do the show is John basically has a list of things. Some of it we talk about ahead of time. Some of it I know about. Some of it he just surprises me with, which is actually cool for me. So I'm
get that natural reaction.
Yeah, and I'm basically reacting as a fan. So I try not to interrupt as much as I can, but I think that just naturally it happens. So if that, you know, I'll try to cut back, but I do try to get my thoughts in. So anyway, so, you know, we hear you. It's a work in progress, but at the end of the day, we're just a couple of fans having a discussion. So, all that out of the way, let's get into it.
All right. So we know we have we know that we have an upcoming Jeepers Creepers reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. We have somewhat of a new poster for it. Nothing too crazy, just a shot of the truck, and it just says Jeepers Creepers Reborn, which I'll pop that up here. But with that came a little bit of, we saw that we talked about the trailer.
Yeah. But
there really wasn't any backstory about it, but now we have a little bit. So as the Horror Hound Festival holds its first ever event in Louisiana, where it attracts hundreds of geeks, freaks, and diehard horror fans from far and wide. Among them is a fanboy Chase and his girlfriend Lainey, who is forced to come along for the ride. But as the event approaches, Lainey begins to experience unexplained premonitions and disturbing visions associated with the town's past, and in particular, local legend, urban myth, the Creeper. As the festival arrives and blood-soaked entertainment builds to a frenzy, Lainey believes that something unearthly has been summoned and that she is at the center of it. So I kind of like that from this, I kind of like that the town knows about him. Like this is something that
Right.
people are saying, all right, look, we heard about this. We know about this. So
Kind of
that's
like,
kind of a cool take on it, you
it's kind
know?
of like Bigfoot or Loch Ness monster or any
Yeah,
Mothman or any other individual. So, and it's cool that it's going to take place during some sort of like festival or celebration.
yeah,
That to me, it sounds like it's a unique and interesting um, take on like a different atmosphere, like a different setup, which is nice to see that they're not going to just redo the same
right.
thing over and over again. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do really like that. They're like it's, the first movie, obviously, we didn't know what the hell he was. The second movie, we didn't know
Yeah.
what the hell he was. The third movie, we still don't know what the hell he is. This one, they kind of have an idea of, okay, we've heard about this. We know what this is. Maybe that even sets up, I forget her name. Is it Tish maybe or something or some shit or
Yeah.
Trish or something? Maybe that sets her to come back into play or something because maybe she can be the wisdom and the knowledge of letting these kids know what the hell's happening.
Right.
That'd be kind of cool too. Who knows?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about her, but there was rumbling about her years ago when they talked about redoing it. So who knows? Maybe.
Well,
maybe
and we have this new almost standard being set of legacy characters. So
yeah,
you know,
it's quite possible she'll pop up in there. Let's see. So you know me, and I know you feel the same way too. We love October. We love Halloween time because there's so many random movies that just pop up everywhere. And with streaming, they're popping up literally everywhere.
yeah.
And I sent you this, and we have another one coming to Netflix. Let me flip my page here. In October, actually on my birthday, but technically we'll be at the theater, so I'll be watching that one the day after probably.
Yeah.
Because
we all know what's actually happening.
Yeah. If you don't, you probably shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah.
So the movie is called The Curse of Bridge Hollow, and it's a father, Marlon Wayans, and his teenage daughter are forced to team up and save their town after an ancient and mischievous spirit causes Halloween decorations to come to life and wreak havoc. I'm sold.
I'm sold. It's also similar. So this sounds more like a family movie to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is cool. I as much as I love like the in your face smash mouth horror, the scary stuff.
Right.
I like what I'm liking about the setup for this year is we're getting a lot of family movies between Hocus Pocus, the Spirit Halloween movie, and now this.
Yeah.
And by the way, excuse me, this kind of reminds me of it's similar to the Spirit Halloween movie because the Halloween decorations coming to life.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of cool though. There's endless possibilities when you're having decorations come to life. So it could be anything,
Yeah.
I think it sounds cool. Again, it's a Netflix thing, so I'm definitely going to check it out. Just not on the 14th though. We're not doing that.
No, I had plans that day.
Me too.
Who knows though? I might come home later that night and pop it on and give it a watch.
Yeah, you know what? Good point. Good point. Or if you're just up at 3:00 in the morning on Thursday night, it'll pop up on Netflix and you can watch it then.
It's true.
Either way.
Most likely I will not be.
I will be. So Orphan First Kill has a new poster, and I'll pop it up here. But what I thought was cool about it was, do you remember in the first one where she drew all those like drawings and stuff, and then they hit the black light and they popped up on the wall and stuff? Mm-hmm. So the poster is done in that black light style, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice little, like, to me, it's just a nice little throwback to like the paintings and stuff she did in the first one, Mm-hmm. That still comes out actually next Friday, the 19th on Paramount Plus. So
yeah, looking forward to that.
Me too. I like the original. So
I like the original too, and honestly never expected to get a sequel.
No, me either.
Or a prequel or whatever.
Yeah, prequel,
whatever. Yeah. So I mean that part of it's really cool because this is just because it's a nice little surprise.
I mean, what's funny about that though? That'll be two movies where technically the bad guy wins because she got away with it in the other one, pretty much, and then she obviously is going to get away with it in the prequel because it's setting up for the other one.
Yeah, it's not.
So I'll be there, man.
Yeah.
You can't beat a 30-year-old, 12-year-old, or whatever the hell she's supposed to be.
No, and we're already set up for a sequel down the line because, as you said, she got away with it in the second one. So this may not be the end of this. We may see more.
Probably. So here's some cool news. Bruce Campbell teases that an Ash vs. Evil Dead animated series might be in discussion here. He says he still sounds like Ash, and my voice hasn't been beat up as much as my body has been, so I can still do that crap. We're already talking about it, an animated series, and so hey man, listen, I loved Ash vs. Evil Dead. I thought it ended way too soon. His explanation of that was basically Stars was like a very unknown thing, and a lot of people just weren't watching it. I mean, Stars is you either have it or you don't.
Stars has been it's like one of those. So I mean, Stars has been around since I was a kid, but it's
right.
I mean, when you look at HBO, Showtime, and those premium channels, and now with more and more streaming stuff, I could see what he means. Like Stars is not really, at the forefront of all this stuff. I mean, hell, even Tubi's getting more stuff than Stars is.
Well, like he said, like when Netflix picked it up, it was like people were seeing it again for the first time.
Right.
So it was like, oh, look, so Stars just wasn't doing well as far as like getting the show out there. Right. It's like that wrestling show they had come out last year called Heels.
I saw part of the first episode. It looked interesting.
It was actually a good show.
Although that promoter, the way he scripted things out was kind of like the guy you were talking about earlier with the 20.
Yeah.
20.
What's funny is like, dude, it's my fault. I doubt myself all the time. They actually had a casting call for that, and I did not send my shit in.
Oh, you should have.
I should have, dude. I should have. Well, since we're on the subject of Bruce Campbell, he says that test screenings for Evil Dead Rise did so well that it might get a theatrical release now, because it was originally supposed to premiere on HBO Max later this year. That's really good to hear. Like, that's a really good thing to hear, man.
Yeah.
If it did that well, and they're now thinking about pulling it from streaming and going straight to the theater, that's good. That's a good thing for all of us,
Sure. That's so cool, because I don't know. You don't hear about that very often. Usually it's the opposite. Something pops off a theatrical release and goes to streaming. It's very rare that you see something going the other way. So that must mean that they've got a quality product.
Absolutely. I mean, and then they might even work out a deal where they can do HBO Max and theater the same day again.
Sometimes they do that.
So we have a poster. We have a poster and a trailer for A24's prequel to X called Pearl. As you know, I wasn't a huge fan.
I know.
But I'm going to give Pearl a chance, I guess. This one is set in 1918, so we're going way back.
Yeah.
I'm
just so interested in how. I mean, where are they going to go with it? Because I did see the trailer.
I don't know, man. Well, the thing is, too, they were talking about doing 3 of these, so there's obviously another one that I think is going to take place after X.
But how can they do that? The old ladies. Spoiler alert.
Unless when the girl leaves there, she goes home and she starts fucking killing people. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because maybe you could tell, like at the very end of that, she was the lost girl that the church going dad was looking.
That's
for.
Right. That's true.
So maybe she's snapped now and she's gonna go home and start killing folks. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's the only way I could see. But so this one is set in 1918, and it's an origin of our villain, which is the old lady from X, played by the same girl who played her in X, and the girl who played the lead character.
Yeah.
Kudos
to her, by the way, for playing those 2 roles like that.
Oh, that's absolutely. If you didn't know going into it, you never would have figured it out.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
This one I did see. It was kind of funny in the trailer. She's pushing what appears to be her dad in a wheelchair on the deck of the river where the big alligator was. So I think Dad's going. I think he's going to be dinner.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the gator was friendly and not friendly with anybody else. Maybe just her. And yeah.
Well, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, I guess.
That is true. So I got some more here. There's something I heard about, and I've never heard of this before. I just actually came across it yesterday. So it's a movie called Dark Harvest, and apparently it was said to be coming out on September 9th, but I don't think that's the case anymore, unless it just gets fast tracked. I don't know. But it's based on a book, and it's set on Halloween in 1963 in a small Midwestern town where teenage boys eagerly square off with the butcher knife wielding, wait for all these names, October Boy, aka Old Hacksaw Face, aka Sawtooth Jack. I don't even know I don't even know what the hell it's about or what it is, but it just sounds interesting. I don't know.
Well, a slasher that takes place on Halloween.
Yeah,
with a butcher wielding madman hunting down teenagers sounds
with several different names too.
Well, several different names, but it sounds a lot similar to another movie that we love.
a little bit. Yeah,
we'll see.
Same year, 63, and maybe him and Mike are. You know what? Never mind. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's all I pretty much know about it. I know that it resurfaced by saying that it's rated R for strong horror violence.
By the way, not to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I want to point out when he says 63. Yes, we know that Halloween mostly takes place in 1978, but Michael Myers, as a little boy, killed his sister in 1963. I just wanted to clarify that before we get a.
Oh yeah, because somebody would be like, "Well, the Halloween is in 78."
So I knew it was coming, so I just had to.
Right. All right. So we talked about our favorite time, October, and everything else, and having all these cool movies that pop up. But here's something else that pops up all the time, just because I think it's one of those, what do they call it? Common license things that people use all the time. The Amityville movies.
Yes.
There's like a ton of those, right?
Yes.
And they stopped just being about, an evil possessed house. It's Amityville everything now, which is probably the next one that's going to come out. Amityville everything.
Didn't they do Amityville in space? Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah. So we have another one coming out, and this one comes out in November. You ready for this one?
I think I'm going to try.
Amityville Thanksgiving.
What are you thankful for?
Not
this movie, I can tell you that.
No, listen, my go-to around Thanksgiving time will always be Thanksgiving, which is the evil killing turkey, which is so fucking over the top ridiculous that I absolutely love it. This one is either going to be more awful than that, or it's going to become a new cult classic around Thanksgiving time. I don't know. I may give it a shot just because it looks like there's a killer turkey on the cover, but who knows? It could be completely fucking awful too. So.
We should do a Thanksgiving horror film, Thanksgiving themed film.
Yes.
I don't know what it would be about yet, but we would call it Unthanksgiving.
We can't call it Amityville something.
Amityville Unthanksgiving.
Amityville turkey, something.
It'll have nothing to do with Amityville. We'll just put that in the name.
So, dude, think about this. Here we are all sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner, nice opening scene, the family's together. And as you're cutting the turkey, you say something nice to the family and what you're thankful for. And when you cut that sucker open, a fucking demon flies out and possesses your ass. And you kill the whole entire family on Thanksgiving. Boom. Amityville turkey. There it is, man.
There it is. We're on to something.
Hey, nobody steal that shit either. I'm just saying. That's all right. That's all right, dude, damn it.
Yeah. His videos are time stamped.
That's right. So this came out of complete blue. We are apparently getting 3. I said 3 new sequels in the Strangers franchise.
No shit.
And they're said to be going into production next month. So that's that came out of nowhere. 3 new movies.
You know what's funny about that? Now, I may be in the minority here on this, but my favorite out of all 3 of those was that Pray at Night one. Oh, wait, there were only 2 movies. There weren't 3.
There was the original with
yeah.
Was it Liv Tyler, I believe?
Yeah, which was okay. I mean, it's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
But in terms of overall a movie that I enjoyed, out of the 2 of them, I like the sequel better.
Yeah, the second one I think it was better than the first.
Yeah.
I like it because it was more realistic to where that could literally happen today. You could go downstairs because someone knocked on your door and they would, basically ask if Alan's home and you're like, no, you got the wrong house. And then they come back and then you ask them why they did this and they tell you because you were home. That shit's real.
Yeah.
That shit's real, dude.
Well, it's like to me, one of the scariest creepiest like things because it's so real is the unmotivated killer. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing it because I want to. I'm not singling you out for any particular reason. You just happen to be there. I mean,
Right.
Laurie Strode dropping the key off. You know what I mean? That's it.
Exactly.
That's just because you were there, wrong place,
Yep.
wrong time. Sorry, bitch, but you're dead. You know, it's like
But I mean, you're right though. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so let's see. All right. Here's something that I didn't think we'd be getting any kind of news on anytime soon, but it's not really a lot, but it's a tease, we'll call it. Let's see. We got news from producer Roy Lee that we may be taking a trip back to Camp Crystal Lake. And he hopes to have some type of news on that franchise very soon. But in order for that to happen, we would have to have both sides of Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller to either work together or come to some kind of agreement, because Jay had sent me something the other day and it was showing like what both sides are kind of like getting in this fight. And a lot of it, on one side, you've got adult Jason and the Friday the 13th name. And on the other side, you have like kid Jason, Jason's mom. You can put a movie together out of that stuff, but you're missing some key points there that you're not allowed to use. So it's a real weird situation.
I would love to get, for those of you, Jay is a friend of ours who is an absolute, like, he is an expert on Friday the 13th in the way that we are. I mean, that's his version of Halloween. I mean, I would love to have him come in and do, I mean, I know he's busy, whatever, but if we could get some sort of deep dive from him, that would be really cool.
Yeah, no, it would be for sure. Well, our last bit of news for this week comes from the Spirit Halloween movie that you mentioned earlier. The trailer premiered, this would be 2 weeks ago now because we're off a week, but the trailer premiered 2 weeks ago at the flagship Spirit store, which got a good reaction. I actually saw a video from that when people were reacting to it and stuff, and they got like almost a 3-minute trailer. We got a teaser, but I get it. I understand it.
Looks good, by the way.
Yeah, it does look fun, man. But the coolest news coming from that is the animatronics that we're going to see in the movie. Now, we don't have a list of all of them because I'm sure there's going to be more, and I'll pop them up as we go. But we got Teddy King of Terror, which obviously is a teddy bear. We've got Nightcrawler, which looks to be one of the coolest ones of the bunch. Mr. Dark, and BUZZSAW, which is the dude that has he almost looks like a farmer, but he's got the big BUZZSAW hand and stuff. And I'm sure we're going to get like a clown because they're notorious for having clown animatronics, and a lot of people are scared of clowns anyway. So
got to throw it in there.
Yeah, and there's also a poster which I'll pop it up. I saw one poster that came out originally, and then there's another one that they were giving away some type of there was only like 1,000 or 10,000 made or something like that, and they were giving them away. So there's two different versions of the poster floating around, but it does look like a fun movie though. I mean, that it's funny because I went to Spirit because they're actually open finally. A couple of them are, and they have like a little cutout for it, and it actually says it's coming out on my birthday too. And I'm like, damn, dude, I thought that was coming out the 11th. So everything's coming out on the 14th. Dude.
Big day.
I'm telling you, Halloween.
That's
you got the new Netflix movie. You got Spirit Halloween. It's like, damn, dude.
The middle of October is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. That's what I said, man. I just love. Okay. I watch horror movies all year round. I know you do the same thing, but there is something about watching a horror movie when the setting outside, feels and has that same look of what you're watching. Almost, there's something about it.
It's funny because I have my basement set up as I have a legitimate theater chairs, big high def QLED TV, surround sound. I even have a popcorn machine down here.
Nice.
But during Halloween, there's something about watching horror movies and Halloween themed stuff upstairs with the door open, the windows open.
Yep.
In the middle, mid afternoon, you know what I mean? You just kind of the smells coming in, and you
talked about it, and you're right. There's very few movies that really capture that Halloween essence.
It's tough. It's tough to do.
I know one we talked about a long time ago that some people might not even know of, but Satan's Little Helper.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, that movie captures Halloween. It just captures Halloween, dude.
It does, and it's done on a lower budget.
Yeah, and it's so under the radar that a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard of Severin Films. They put out like they're super expensive, but they put out and restore like older films sometimes. They actually have a Blu-ray coming out of that. It's like $30, but dude, I would love to grab it because I love it.
I would too. Yeah, and
it's got a bunch of extras and stuff too.
Yeah, I would love. That's one that I would have loved them to do a sequel of, but I don't think.
Me too. No,
I don't think that's ever going to happen, sadly, because it
Did I ever tell you I met the director of that years ago?
No, really.
I met him at Cinema Wasteland in Cleveland, and I told him, I was like, dude, I absolutely love Satan's Little Helper. He just went, yeah. Like, he was a dick. Like, I was like, I'm telling you that I enjoy your work. Like,
yeah,
nothing. Like, he was just, I don't know if he was just a miserable person that day or what, but
maybe he didn't like it.
I mean, I don't know, dude, but I told him, I was like, dude, I'm a huge fan of that movie. I think it's awesome. And he was just like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, fine.
Nice to see you too.
I enjoyed it as well. Everything about it. I mean, it was very well done. It's just one of those movies, like you said, it captures this, the Halloween atmosphere, which is, I can only think of a handful of movies that really does it adequately, to be honest.
Yeah. No, you're right though, 100%. And I'll say this, and a lot of people probably would fight me on this. As much as we all know the truth now, obviously Halloween was set in a small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, which isn't real, and it was filmed in Pasadena, California. But okay, yeah, you may get a shot of a palm tree once or twice in there, and we know that leaves were actually picked up and kept and thrown around on
which
set
is stuff. Imagine being the guy that has to go pick up the leaves in between.
You want to hear something funny? Do you want to know who one of the people was that did that?
Who's that?
Robert Englund.
Oh, you're right. I do remember hearing that. Yeah. And there are a lot of ties with Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween that a lot of people may not know about.
The extra scene that's filmed for TV was actually filmed in Nancy's house on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So it is cool that like he had a connection with that even before Nightmare on Elm Street was a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is kind of cool little trivia if you didn't know that.
That is.
But yeah, I still, and I said I'll die on this hill, man. Halloween, with exception of being filmed in California, still gives you a very small town Halloween feel. Whether you want to agree with that or not, it's the truth.
Well, no, I agree. Especially in 1978, I feel like it fits the time, and I think that the production on that they really paid extra attention to make sure. A movie, and honestly, and a movie that does even better is Part 4.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They did a great job. So there's 2 on my list. And then you have, obviously Trick or Treat does a great job.
Oh yeah.
Doing
absolutely.
That. Hocus Pocus does a good job with it.
Yep. Especially hell, you're filming in Salem. You have to have that's one of the biggest toured places around Halloween time ever. So yeah.
So who knows? Maybe sometime one year in October, the horror guys will have to take a trip out to Salem, and
maybe we'll light that black flame candle. Who knows?
We might. I mean, if we see it, we're going to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm not.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not gonna have that thing sitting in my.
I lost you. You there?
Yeah, my phone started ringing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, could be my internet. I froze setting up here earlier, so. Oh,
damn. But no, like legit, dude, I don't know how much that got cut off, but like, listen, if I was in Salem and I saw that, I'm not going to pass it the chance to light that sucker up, just saying.
I don't know what happens.
We're bringing the Sanderson sisters to Youngstown or something. We're bringing them home.
Basically, we're not responsible enough to be around that sort of thing.
No, absolutely not. Dude, I could be at if we went to, let's say we're just hypothetically filming at like not saying I would really be like a grave robber, but let's just say that here we are in a cemetery setting and there's a headstone that says Jason Voorhees. I mean, I might dig that motherfucker up. I'm just saying.
Or maybe one that says Judith Myers or.
I'm taking the headstone.
I mean, it's gone. They can replace that shit. Is there insurance on that or something?
Right. Listen, I'm sorry that if your sister and or mother and or friend is named Judith Myers, but if she's got a headstone and I see it, I'm taking her home. I'm just saying.
You might as well you might as well search our houses first because it's in one of the two.
They just know.
You might even find it square in the middle of the entranceway at the RAPW Halloween event. That's
year.
It'll be there. Legit. It'll be there.
Yep. That is 100%
big ass
legit.
tombstone.
Oh, dude, that is really cool looking. You guys got a real lifelike one. Yeah, just don't touch it. It's really flimsy styrofoam. Don't touch it.
And don't tell anybody we have it either.
Right. Oh man. No, that's funny, dude.
All right. Do you want to do a couple comments before we jump off?
Yeah, I know it's been a while, so we probably got a bunch accumulated by now.
We do. I'm going to do a few here because we're splitting them up into two.
All right.
Let me find, let's see here. All right. Keith says, love the channel, guys. You give the fans a chance to speak a bit. Appreciate that. Good times with the horror guys. We said it a million times. That's what it's all about here, and we love hearing from you guys. And Keith, we appreciate your comments every week. You help keep this thing alive.
Yep.
So yeah, no doubt. Let's see here. I'm trying to find some non-Halloween stuff because we got
I know, right? Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
1986 Cochran says Bushwhacker Luke is my uncle. That's in reference to the
to us saying about the guy about Undertaker being
Undertaker,
his uncle. Yeah.
And legendary Super Shannon actually made a comment on that. He said around 3 minutes, quote, "The Undertaker is my uncle. There isn't a more concerning red flag signaling that someone is off their meds, completely unhinged maniac that you should immediately get the fuck away from at the first opportunity, then to randomly make the proclamation to a complete stranger." It is very strange.
It is. It is. I mean, well, that's the thing. You listen, you could have easily walked up to me and just said, "Hey man, you look like Taz." No, this dude said, "You look like Taz. You want to know why I know that?" And I'm like, "Oh Jesus, I can't wait to hear this." And that's what he told me. So it's like, I don't know if any of you guys have been to like local wrestling shows or whatever, but, and I'm not saying this to be mean towards fans because I absolutely love the people, some of them, and they are responsible for making it possible for us to do what we do. So I'm not saying this to be rude, but wrestling fans are very, they're different. They're very different.
So in fairness, so are a lot of the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, you have some really interesting oh God, I don't even know the word to like personality. I guess we'll just say personalities. Very interesting people. Some of them you can sit and have a full-fledged conversation with, and some of them you can only say hello and goodbye to because in between you don't want to have that conversation. So you just kind of keep it very short and sweet. And that's it. But as far as the fans go, they will come and tell you that they know more about you than you know about yourself sometimes. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Well, but like
Harry, who did our commentary for a long time.
Speaking of an interesting personality.
He's in it. Well, he told me a few years ago that his first event ever that he ever went to, his first exposure to wrestling. And by the way, this guy must have learned a lot in a number of years because he's like a wrestling encyclopedia.
Yeah, he really is.
But his first exposure was at the Fans Bring the Weapons match that me and PJ did with Russ and Straight Jacket Mafia. Apollyon. Yeah, now he's haven't seen the kid in years.
Something. Oh yeah, the dude with the mask. Yeah. I know. He was working. He did another gimmick for a while, and I can't think of what the hell. He unmasked finally, and he was doing another gimmick. But I don't even know if he works anymore though.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time.
I don't think he does.
But apparently, that was Harry's first show. I think, or one of his or something. And he says that he still has some sort of weapon from the match that he kept. Oh, it's like hanging on this wall or something. I don't know. I'd have to ask him for clarification, but I was like, I mean, the things that you find out, like I would never do that.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
years, I mean, we're talking 10, 15 years later, he told me this.
at least you get, hey man, I got a weapon for one of your cool
Yeah.
matches. I get these motherfuckers that come up to me and say, oh man, I saw you work for the first time when I was like 10. Fuck you. Like, fuck you, dude. I was like 12 years old when I saw you wrestle, dude. Fuck you. And like,
Well,
they're like 30 years old now, like,
well, I
the
know
fuck.
I've told you when I was like 16, me and my friend messaged you thinking you were training people. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
36 now. That was 20 years ago. And I mean, who would have ever
Thanks,
thought?
man. Thanks. Great.
I mean, but who would
Oh
have ever
man.
thought though? Who would have ever thought though that
Right.
like this random goofy ass kid, these two dumbass kids messaging you like that one of those dudes you'd be sitting here doing this with
I
all
know,
these
right?
years later. Life is a funny thing. Life is
It
funny,
is.
man.
Dude, back in the days of AOL Messenger and stuff and all that shit, I used to get a bunch of messages back then. And myself, I was just starting out. So I was
Yeah.
a year, 2 years, 3 years, upwards of 5 years in the business. And people were sending me messages like, hey, man, we hear you're from Youngstown. Can you train us? And I'm still learning myself, dude.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
can't train anybody, and
That's
it's always I take it as a compliment now that okay, I'll say this. I take it as a compliment now when people ask for your advice, but at the same time, there's a lot of dudes out there now that don't want to learn shit because they think they know everything.
yeah.
So when you do take your time to like verbally tell them something or physically show them something, they'll blow you off in a heartbeat. Now that pisses me off. And me and Kurt were just actually talking about that the other night. Like if I'm giving you my time and if I'm giving you my body, you need to respect that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these dudes don't really care today, man. And it's really sad to see how much it's changed. Like, I don't have that super, you know me better enough than that, but I don't have that super old school, old guy in the business mentality. Like, I'll work with anybody. I don't give a shit if they're 18 to 80. I really don't want to work an 80-year-old guy, but if I have to, I will. But like, I don't go out there and say like, I won't do this, I won't do that. I'm willing to work with you. I want to work with you. I want to work with different people. I want to work different styles, different paces and stuff. And I'm proud of myself. And I do not say that enough. Very rarely do I ever give myself any credit, but I'm proud of myself that I can keep up with these kids that are 18, 19, 20, because I'm not, like I'm not. So I'm proud of that, dude. I will give myself that much credit that I am proud that I can do that.
It's hard
when
enough.
I can't do it anymore, it's time to quit.
It's hard enough to stay in the business to begin with, let alone continue to perform at a high level, especially with these kids who, let's face it, when they're that much younger, it comes a lot easier. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, now I'll say for me, when I first started training, it was tough because like I think it was mind over matter. You walk in that first day and there's Preston telling you, okay, so this is how you take a fall, a bump, and then someone shows you and you're standing there going, I'm not doing that. There's no way in hell I'm falling like that, So it's a mind over matter kind of thing. Like for me, it was. Yeah. But like as you go on and like I was just telling Kirk the other night, dude, numbers don't mean shit. So like even 10 years into the business, I didn't feel like, oh, I'm a vet now. I can call myself a veteran. I think you're still trying to get it. You're still learning and you're still getting to that point. Yeah. And I think for me, it didn't really take over until I started booking. And it was like, now I really get it. And well, shit, dude, I'm coming up on 26 years into this shit and I still learn every day. So it's a learning experience throughout your whole career,
Well, from the start of my career, I was, 150 pounds soaking wet. As I got older, I put on weight. My whole style changed, the whole way I worked. So I had to relearn how to even work a match in the middle of my career. I basically had to adapt to what my body was doing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. And then you have injuries and everything else you got to work around.
Dude, I fully admit the fact that I probably should have taken way better care of myself. Obviously, when I first started wrestling and stuff, I mean, I was a way bigger dude back then, that. But I always adapted to being able to work as a big guy though. So when I did like drop a ton of weight and stuff, and then like you would kind of flux throughout, for over 12 years, I've been able to maintain a certain, like, I never went back to what I was before and I never will. So like I was always able to maintain that big dude, but I was that big dude that could throw a drop kick or would do a suicide dive or could take a spine buster from PJ when he said I couldn't, and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
I was always that dude that could adapt to that kind of stuff, and I'm still doing it today. And I don't have like that. Again, I don't have that mentality of, well, I've been around for so long. Well, I can't do this and I won't do that, dude. I want to work. When I go and like I find out like you only got like 5 minutes or something in a match. I'm like, shit, dude, I want like 15, 20. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hell, me and Marcus did a 45-minute main event one time in Main Event World League, and Joe was like, really, guys? He's like, you told us to do whatever we wanted to.
We wanted to go 45 minutes.
So we went 45 minutes. I was like, hey, it is what it is.
That's right. Can't go back now and cut it out.
Nope, sure can't. It's live and in person, man.
Yep.
But, so that was a wrestling tangent for you guys, which we are still going to put a video together. Look how smooth and that transition in. Look at that, dude. Like,
I know we got to do that soon because I do enjoy talking about it. There's so much we could get into.
Oh God, So. Maybe we'll just, we should do like when we get started, we get rolling on it. Once a week, we'll put up like a little series and just talk about wrestling. And stuff. And then because it's going to take us time to get through stories and just shit about everything, and just it's going to take time.
Right.
So we'll do it in we'll do it in parts.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Especially once Halloween comes out and we're not doing Halloween specific videos as much. I'm sure we'll have something else coming that we focus on, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But we could definitely do that.
Do we have anything that's not Halloween related comment wise left?
Well, we have one based on, it is sort of a Halloween 78 reenactment skit. Michael Audrey Miles put a bunch of laughy faces in a WTF.
I kind of thought the same thing when I did it. Trust me. Yeah. So what the fuck was definitely in my head too. Trust me.
Let's see here. Multiverse Director says, yo, dude, I'm so hyped for Chucky Season 2, and Insidious Chapter 5 would be a direct sequel to the first two Insidious, with Insidious Chapter 5 being directed and starred by Patrick Wilson. That will follow Dalton Lambert in college facing off against the lipstick-faced demon again. Yes. I like Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's where we are in terms of non-Halloween stuff. We'll save the rest for the next one.
All right. Well, then I guess it's my turn to dust off the little bit of rust I may have on myself from 2 weeks of missing this. But we want you to head over to YouTube, give us a like and a follow, and hit that subscribe button, please. Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio. Where else are we at? Apple Podcast?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts.
And we really want you to jump on Reddit and continue the horror discussion with us, because right now it's just me and Alan and a mystery guest that we don't know who it is yet.
That's right.
Although, what's funny? You know how you up the, what do they call it? Like an up thing?
Like the upvote, yeah.
Yeah, somebody, it wasn't you, but somebody upvoted my shit. So our mystery
somebody's
guest,
at least reading it.
Right. So jump in there with us and have some fun, man. We're forever sharing posts and stuff on there. It's just me and him having a good time with our mystery guest. But yeah, jump on Reddit, hang out with us, and let's continue the horror discussion.
Definitely. All right. We'll see you here probably in a day or two with the next video, which we're about to do right after this one, which will be
spoiler alert.
Which will be Halloween Ends. So thanks again, guys.
Fans, check out and follow the Horror Guys. You can find them on Facebook, facebook.com/The Horror Guys. On Twitter, Horror Guys 21, that's HORRORGUYS 21. On YouTube, The Horror Guys. And also on Spotify, search for The Horror Guys.